What's up, everyone? Welcome to FloTrack's The Meetup. As you can see, we are no longer remote, no longer doing this pandemic thing. Everyone, my name is Nia Gibson. Welcome to The Meetup. I'm here with the lovely Johnny Pays, Olu Olamigoke. How are we feeling about being in the... We're finally in person, guys.
I know, right? I know, right? It's like new stew, same crew. We've been online all this time, but it's like at the same time we see each other, but it's different when we actually get to like talk in front of each other's faces. So
yeah, we talk about this space. I mean, it is beautiful.
Yeah, this is sick.
I'm excited for what we're gonna be able to do. Cook up in here.
I know. I mean, Olu was cooking just now. You heard the rhyming?
Hey,
so,
we're off to a good start.
Yeah, guys. But I mean, it's gonna be fun. As you guys know, the meetup is presented by Diodora. Performance first, crafted and tested at their Italy HQ. Diodora gear is built for speed. The choice of Marco Langan and Simeon Birnbaum. And speaking of Marco Langan, we have a very special guest today with our very own Marco. How are you doing, Marco?
I'm doing good, Nia. Thank you. How are you doing?
Very, very good. Thanks for joining us. And let me just tell the people who you are in case they don't know. Guys, he is a Villanova standout, #3 all-time in the 3000, multiple-time All-American, Diodora athlete, and just an ultimate shark in the game. If you don't know, now you know. We got a complete dog with us on the show that's going to be competing this weekend. Mark, are you excited?
Yeah, I am. For the weekend or the interview?
Both.
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled for both. So definitely more thrilled for the weekend. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
March is finally here. I mean, we've been counting down the days all year. What does this mean to you to finally get here and kind of put it all out there on the line?
The same as any other race, you know. If you're going into a race and you're not willing to put it all on the line, I think that's a bit pathetic on your part. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. You know, you had some really good championship-style performances earlier this season. We all saw the race earlier in Boston. Now, obviously, we're going to have a bigger depth of field this weekend at the NCAA championship. So let me know, is there anybody like you have on your hit list, or are you just trying to be out there and beat everybody at all costs? Are you trying to prove yourself? What is it? Take us into your headspace a little bit.
It don't matter who it is. I'm willing to die for it no matter what it is. I'm willing to do anything to get that win. So you could throw anybody in the field. It is what it is. Anyone could get it. So it's not like I'm intimidated by these guys. It's not like I'm scared of these guys. You know, they're just some normal ass people to me. But you just got to go out and prove you're the best every single time you go out and compete. And I'm just fortunate to be stepping on the line, competing against what you guys would like to say the best in the NCAA, and some even being some of the best in the world. So I'm excited for that. That's something that means a lot to me, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I feel like we're seeing just a different type of grit from you this year. You've always been a really gritty runner, in my opinion. Like sometimes I talk about you to other people in the track community. I'm like, yeah, he's like a street racer for real. But what's the difference between this season and last?
I mean, if y'all think that's a different grit than it ever was, and y'all just haven't been paying attention. So that's not on me, but I think it's just that I've been the same way I've been since I started this sport, and I'm going to continue to be the same way. And if people got a problem with the way I talk or the way I present myself, you can come and do something about it. But until then, I'm going to continue to be the way that I am, and I'm going to continue to race to the standard that I put myself at.
I love it. I love it. And I got to say, it's good for the sport. Are you ready to talk about it?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Let's do it. All right, so Marco, we were saying earlier off camera, you will be competing in the 3,000 and the 5,000, and we'd love to get your takes coming up. I spoke to you in Boston one time, and you were telling me that, listen, when the smoke clears, only the strong survives. Tell me where you think you're going to be at by the time this time next week comes around.
Champion.
I love it. And, we have a few people in the field, too, to consider. Obviously, Hopton Samuel, Tavon Kitchens, Gary Martin, just to name a few. And you said it best, it doesn't matter who's in the field. But with certain types of runners, maybe strategy changes. Does that, correlate to you at all?
The strategy is to win.
Okay, I love it.
So you just go out and you do anything it takes to win. At the end of the day, that's all you can do, you know? So whether it's a split-second decision that you make with 200 meters or the decisive decision to go with 1,000 meters out and see who has the biggest balls in the field, it just depends. But you make that decision in the race. You don't go in with a plan. You go in with the idea of execute to win. That's it.
Marco, I do want to interject. I'm pretty curious. Like, I've never had the opportunity to see how the Villanova team operates, but clearly just a long dynasty of competitors and winners and champions. Can you take us into like what it's been like, training at Villanova? What is that environment like? What is coach putting in your ear? How are you guys working together in workouts? I'm just, however you want to attack it, but how would you like kind of describe the environment you've been fortunate to be, preparing in?
I'm very fortunate to be in the environment that I've got the opportunity to be in for the past 4 years of my life, and I wouldn't change it for anything. I've met some great people. I've met people who I consider my brothers, and I've met people that I literally look at as family or father figures. Having Marcus O'Sullivan being a four-time world champion on the indoor track and being a multiple-time Millrose game winner and multiple-time Olympian, having someone like that who's literally done it all and seen it all, you can't do anything but trust what he's saying. And having someone with the tenacity and the competitiveness as Matt Valeriani, our assistant coach, has, having that just kind of brew together in a perfect storm, I think is one of the biggest benefits of training at the University of Villanova. And every single day it's kind of a competitive thing at practice, whether it's playing a game of cards or playing Xbox or doing core, doing push-ups, doing your pull-ups. You're always competing to see who could do more, who could do better. So when you're in a environment like that, you have no other choice but to compete, and that's where you kind of get that only the strong survive mentality. And if you can't handle it, you kind of trickle out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love that.
Yeah, that says a lot. So
Yeah.
I love how you talked about your head coach, how he, kind of fosters that competitive environment. So I want to know, you do bring, I know you talked about the grit, it's always been there, it's been showing, that's unquestionable. But what is not questionable as well is that the fact that you bring a level of, I don't want to say, I think all distance runners tend to be confident on some level, but you bring a level of extroverted confidence and you're not afraid to back down on anybody. Is that fostered by your coach as well, seeing what he's done? Does he play into that? Does he encourage that? Let us know a little bit more about that relationship between you and Coach Marcus.
I know internally with Marcus O'Sullivan that he was probably one of the most confident, cocky people internally. Externally, he wouldn't that trade out there. And I don't know really why, but that's just kind of the way that he was raised, the way he was. But coming from a pretty similar environment, the only way to prove yourself is to be winning and to be at the top of whatever you're doing and wanting to show your value in the world and showing your importance. And both of our ways of doing that is shown out in the Oval. And that's kind of just how it is. I played multiple sports growing up, and I've had a lot of people in my life that have kind of that win or die mentality. And one of those people is this man, Vinny Giles. And Vinny, he was a runner for Staten Island way back in the day, back when, who would have been during that time? Charlie Masala, when he was racing, he was back in like the 70s. He ran for Stanford or sorry, not 70s, the 80s, but he ran for Stanford. And this guy, Vinny, he was just kind of he was like a big time like break dancer. That was his profession. But he grew up rough part of Staten Island, and he just had all these experiences in his life. And I speak to him before every single one of my races, and he's the one who kind of just puts these words into my head. Not kind of, he does put these words into my head and makes me go in with the belief and the confidence that I'm the greatest runner that's been put on this earth, And if you can't believe that before a race, how are you going to have the confidence to actually beat those guys, And even same thing with my high school coach, Rob DeFilippis. He is the closest thing I've had to a father in my life. He's the one who kind of puts these words into my head and tells me what to do and just how to think and how to operate. And without those two people in my life, I would definitely be lost.
That's huge. It's huge. I really appreciate you opening up and saying that. It's always nice to know that people who have a certain level of confidence, it's not, clearly yours is self-started, but it's also nice to know that there's some people pouring into your ear.
Also, Marco,
Yeah,
I would love for you to say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You could go.
I would love for you to kind of expand on something you said earlier last month just regarding, you do this too because like just you love your little sister, you love your mom, you want to make sure that they're provided for. So we obviously know you have this will to win, but can you just talk more just on the meetup about the battery they put in your back?
I mean, there's really just no other explanation for that, I'm in a situation where she's a single mother trying to raise the two of us, and, it's just, I'm the oldest male in the house, so it's my responsibility to provide, My mom, she's a lunch lady, she loves her job, but I want to be able to give nice things to her and give nice things to them and make sure we're completely stable, like not going into debt, we're not losing the house, and because of this NIL, we've been able to do a lot of that, and it's just been able to help out my family immensely. And without that, it just would not be going so well. So taking the burden off of their back is something that's huge. It's been nice to finally walk around my house without having to step on eggshells or anything like that. But in regards to all that, they're some of my biggest motivators, when it starts to hurt in a race, what's going to hurt more, knowing that your mom and sister are not going to be provided for, or just feeling a little bit of pain in a race like a bitch, it's no question that I want to hurt to provide for them. So that's where that mentality comes from.
Hurts better.
It's poetic.
I couldn't have said it better.
And speaking of that, I'd like to dive a little bit more like what it's meant, Diodora being a part of your life, believing in you, taking a chance. I mean, we've had the opportunity here to have them believe in what we're doing with our show, and really like the people behind it. But can we just touch on it real quick? Like, what does Diodora mean to you? How have they been able to support you? And kind of, we have some great memories from this summer when we went to HQ. I remember getting to see the process and see how they were incorporating your feedback. And I mean, you were the star of the show. I mean, all eyes were on you. They were hanging on every word you had to say, which was pretty unique to see, I think, out of a big shoe company like that. But I just love to hear about your relationship with them and how they've been supporting your dreams.
Yeah, they've been nothing but kind to me, and they've really given me anything that I'd ask for. If I need a pair of shoes, or if I need clothes for my sister because she's doing track, or if I need to get shoes for my friends, or one of my friends, C4, he lives in Philly. He's just in like the housing area, and being able to give shoes to him whenever he needs, or like just like a jacket or something, giving clothes to my friends like Tristan at home, it's unbelievable to be able to do things like that. So with that being said, I am in love with this brand and love everything that they do, and I've been blessed to have them take the opportunity and really go after me, And a lot of brands, I don't think they're they don't want to be representing someone that's like me. So it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go do my own thing and do it my own way. And I own up to that. I know how I am, and you know what, respect the brands for staying true to their culture, staying true to who they are, and not taking a risk. But at the end of the day, I'm have that chip on my shoulder to show that I'm going to be the best, and I know I'm the best. And I've been saying that since day one, So kind of just like a big, I can't say it on camera, but see where I'm kind of going with that, But I'm very, very happy to be with this brand, and I've been able to do it with my high school coach, and he's the one who helped me with my deal. So being able to do it with him is like just like going in middle fingers high and just like following the plan that we've had since I graduated high school.
I just remember that the museum that they have in HQ, and there's far and few between. They pick their guys well, so to speak. And in this museum, there's Seb Coe, one of the greatest of all time. Do you see yourself potentially, 20 years from now, being part of that museum? Is that something, footsteps that you think you could step into and lay the foundation for the next generation?
I just want to lay the foundation for the new museum that they're going to build for me. I don't want to be part of that museum. So, yeah.
I love it.
We do things so big that they're going to have to make their own museum for it,
Yeah.
But that's kind of where my head's at with that. I don't really believe in all that legacy thing, though, I just believe in brand representation and being able to build the brand and being part of something bigger than yourself, I think all that legacy shit's just that's just ego talking at the end of the day. That shit doesn't really, it's just ego, you know? Legacy is just, that I think that's a bit of bullshit if you're after building your own legacy. I think that's just complete selfish, egotistical behavior, but it's more about being part of something and building something that's giving you so much, you know? Like with Villanova, I'm being 1,000% honest, winning a double pen relay this spring was more important to me than winning a national title again, because you're building something for the program, and that is a team event, and that is what Villanova is founded on. So adding 2 more wheels to that is huge. But my main focus right now is just this week, and then my eyes are all set on that. So I'm not really thinking about anything else. But when you ask about that whole legacy thing, I think it's just you're building, you build what you're representing. You don't build yourself.
I love that.
Oh man, speaking
Words
of
from the wise.
No, I love it. I think I'll see you in Arkansas, Marco. So I'm really excited to see what you do this weekend and how you lay it out on the ground and how you make sure, listen, only the strong survives. And then you also said when we were in Boston, ain't nobody ready to bleed like you. So I'm really excited to see your race this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll be cheering for you.
You are very welcome. We are cheering for you. We're rooting for you. And thank you so much for joining us.
All the best, man.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So Marco is amazing. So I'm really excited to see what he does this weekend. But, you know, as we talk about distance, let's talk about on the women's side, right? Doris versus Jane. This is part 3. We've seen them go head-to-head at NCAA's cross country. We've seen them go head-to-head at Melrose. Now we're going to see them go head-to-head again at NCAA indoor championships. Doris is leading, is 2-0 right now. What do we think is going to happen?
And it's gonna be one to get really excited for. I mean, these are two. I mean, it's like an unmovable object versus an unstoppable force, and I think, you know, Doris does come in with a lot of, I guess, years under her belt, and Jane is, you know, no fault of her own, is still in her freshman year. She is coming off that title at conferences. Obviously knows how to win, but, you know, if you had to, unless like something came out of left field, I would think Doris is probably the one to lean towards, simply just because of that record and because of the years under her belt, but.
So who is the immovable object and who's the unstoppable force?
That's a fair question. Well, unstoppable. They're kind of both.
I was trying to pin you there. I think to your point, yeah, like, I mean, if you look at Doris, I mean, she has the seniority, a little bit of seniority over Jane, but at the same time, something we talked about recently, Nia, I think it was like yesterday, where we're talking about, you know, do they even see each other as rivals, or are they both just some racers, competitors trying to get on the line and see how fast they can run? And I think personally that maybe it's less about, we as the spectators, we like to put it about a rivalry. We like to put all the accolades and the superlatives on this or that. But I think at the end of the day, we're just looking at 2 generational talents who have the opportunity to take the line together at the national championship. Jane, of course, being a freshman phenom, but Doris having been established. We're all going to benefit from it. Right. I don't think it's necessarily fair to say who's going to be, or rather that this is a rivalry if they haven't declared it for themselves. But in any case, I think, are we getting some predictions now, or where are we at, Nia? Because I mean, I was going to throw it out there.
No, go ahead.
I mean, like, again, back to immovable force, immovable object, unstoppable force. I think it's going to be Doris personally, but.
Okay, I'm not mad at it, but I will say I think we're living in a world where multiple things can be true at once.
Yeah.
I think they are 2 forces that are crazy, right? But I would also argue that it's a rivalry. During cross-country season, Nick Stenough, you know, he came on the show with Doris, and he was essentially saying, you know, people like to pit these 2 women against each other, but he was like, you know what? It's a good storyline. It's good for the sport. And specifically, it's really good for women's sports. So I think he's able to see and just encourage it more because there's value in this. And then, you know, storylines drive viewership. It brings camaraderie. It brings, I mean, good old-fashioned hate. Not that they hate each other, right? But I think one of the beautiful things about sports is rivalry. Yeah. And yeah, I just think a lot of things are just coexisting, and we're going to see essentially who comes out on top as we go into outdoor seasons after. So I think it's something that's cool. Like, I mean, I think college in general, college sports especially, good old-fashioned clean hate. So I'm very excited to see what happens with there. And just as a reminder, guys, Doris has the 3K collegiate record. Jane has the 5K collegiate record.
Right. So.
And we never know what can happen, because when it comes down to it, they just, like, one knows how to win. Both of them know how to win, right? Yeah. But I think with Jane, it's so interesting because in high school, she was someone, it was her versus the clock all the time. She didn't have to worry about somebody. So this is very new for her. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Ooh, Nia, you're gonna have to report live. Send me text messages on the spot. I don't want to wait for the feed.
I got you, Olu. Come on. You know I got you. You know I got you. But, you know, we could go down a couple notches with the distances. The women's 200 is going to be something special for sure. I think this is the first time in a while Jamesia Ford is, like, she may still be the favorite, but she did come second at SECs to Adeja Hajj of UGA. And at this point, it's kind of up in the air. What can happen? And then you kind of have a dark horse in probably Cameron Dixon, Madison White, who can essentially take that title. So, guys, as you guys know, Adeja Hajj ran 22:32 was a personal best on facility record, beating Jamesia Ford 22:61 at SECs. Olu, you were there.
I was there. And okay, so I made this point before, but I'm gonna make it a little bit more succinct now. I think Adeja is running with the experience of somebody who might be 4 to 8 years her senior. It doesn't make sense how she's a freshman running like that, but at the same time, she is an Olympian. So she knows what it's like to go through the round. She knows what it's like to line up against the best. Jamesia Ford is the queen of the sprints in college, but I think she also is, you know, realizing kind of like as a corollary to Jane and Doris, how it's not necessarily like you can just go in and be the best, but you also have to prove that you're best on the day of. And I think seeing Jamesia come off across the line, she looked pissed. And I cannot wait to see what that matchup is going to look like. I think Adeja, it's ceiling is the floor now. So Adeja Hajj is breaking down barriers where, you know, she's just like a bunch of these other athletes, whether it's, if you look as far back as, you know, some field event athletes like Jadon Hibbert a few years ago, who was 17 years old jumping 1750. And you have obviously Adeja Hajj running the times that she's running. I think we're seeing this upperclassmen see that they cannot just go out of the sport or leave the NCAA without knowing they have to leave their mark until the very end. And what we're all getting treated to is some world-class performances by people who haven't even touched pro yet. And I think we're all really getting spoiled at this moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When was the last time we had a pissed off Jamesia Ford running at nationals?
Right.
When was the last time we saw that? Right. So what will that produce? And will we get into the indoor 200 record is tough. It's Julian Alfred 22:01. So I'm not saying that's going down, but what I am saying is how close can we get to that? Because we're seeing somebody where Jamesia, she be winning. You know what I mean? That's one thing she does, but like she's coming off of a conference that's very unfamiliar to herself and viewerships. So it's like, what are we about to walk into for that 200? And I mean, open-ended question, but
a treat. That's all I got. It's going to be a treat. I mean, you saw what we just said it. She came off SECs looking angry, and she knows that she has like a chip. I'm sure there's a chip on her. So I think I have a photo of her looking angry that I might have captured. Like, and I love it when athletes get angry because for me, that was the field of my fire. Yeah. So yeah, she's a champion. I think what we're in for is a treat.
It's kind of like we're getting a second national meet. You know, none of these collegiates were able to compete at USATF. To me, it feels like the quality of these matchups are rivaling kind of what we saw at the pro level.
It might be better. I think they were running faster, Johnny, to be very honest with you. Like, rivalry is a nice way to put it. They were running faster. They were also running faster in the 400, men's 400 as well.
Yeah, Naija. Sama Ogazi.
You already know who I'm about to talk about.
You already know
who I'm about to talk about,
yes. Oh my goodness. Again, I come back to it. Olympic experience means so much. You can be you can take two talents who have the same PR, who have the same accolades. You can take two talents who are equally matched on paper. But it's different to be able to go to the highest levels of the sport and know that you have to run at the top 10% of your capability just to make it to the next round. That's the Olympic Games. And obviously, that's the SEC in a way, too. The SEC is like, if you're talking anything from 400 down, you're talking about the people who are going to place top 6 through 8 almost in the NCAA championships. And so to see the confidence and the swagger that Samuel entered both the prelims and the finals of the 400 and the 4x4 at SECs, when I was right there witnessing it, it was just like, yo, this guy's ready. He's so ready. He ran 3 fast 400s in a span of 3 hours.
Yeah.
So what are rested legs gonna do? You know?
Yeah, because I mean, listen, he's somebody where we talk about rust busters. He falls into the category of people who don't have those. He opened his season at UNM with the 44.85, and then he ended up running like 44.72 to win SECs. He is a dog, and we know University of Alabama is turning into 400 University for the men because we see who they produce. And you spoke about USA's Johnny, Chris Robinson, Caleb McRae, the indoor world record holder. They all are products of Bama. Like, so at this point, roll tide. So we will see what happens in that men's 400. I mean, I'll tell you what happens. I think Samuel's going to win, but.
I mean, we got some people going to try to contest that, of course, but I think the thing about Samuel is that he knows the depth of his ability, and I agree with you. And also Nigeria. So.
Oh, yeah, period. We love that.
Yeah.
I feel like this is almost like the SEC recap show, because SECs feels like a precursor to what may happen at NCAAs. You obviously have your outliers in like Big 10s, Big 12s, et cetera. But, the 60-meter hurdles on the men's side. I feel like that race in particular, for like the races we mentioned, outliers, right, who can sit here and contest. But SEC's indoor, it ended up being Jacoby Thorpe, Jaqueline Scott, and Kendrick Smallwood. They ran 7:48, 7:50, 7:56, respectively. They are dogs. And in that final, Olu, you were also there.
Yes.
The gun went off like, what, 3-4 times?
I think it was 3 or 4. Look, for me, if I see false starts, I lose count after 2. And it was at least 3, possibly 4. But the craziest part is there were the same number of false starts in the prelims the night before. So, yeah, you said it. You just said the time that they ran in the finals. But I think if we take it from the top to the bottom, Jacoby Thorpe, I mean, 7:48 after 4 false starts, 3 false starts, like. To talk about championship mentality, to be able to know that the way he. And the thing about Jacoby, what I loved watching, there are photos of him just kind of shrugging, and he came up crossing the line. He's like, well, I guess that's just what I do. He was saying, I guess that's just what I do. Because if there's a level of championship caliber performance that he knows he can pull out no matter the circumstances. But the other cool part is that the prelims, you know, as we said it last week, Kendrick and Jaqueline, they both tied technically, although it had to go down to the thousands, and Jaqueline got him by a little bit. They ran 7:46. Jacoby comes out next heat, runs about there's no such thing as running by yourself in the SECs, but at the same time there was margin between him and second place, and he ran to 7:46. So let's hope that the starters get the gun right in NCAAs, because we could be treated to something. I would go as far to say sub 7:43 probably, you know, because they were all moving after multiple false starts. You know what that's like. I mean, maybe you don't, Johnny, coming from the distance background, but like when you run.
I mean, one false start is like, throws off.
Yeah, it throws off everybody,
right? You know?
Yeah, like you nail these starts and then you get called back. You nail these starts, you go over one hurdle, you have to knock down the second, you get called back. You nail the start, you nail the first hurdle, and you have to get called back again. Some part of you might want to turn down the intensity just in case it gets called back again. You don't want to be the person who gets thrown out. So, all that to say, it's going to be a show. That is definitely my event of this NCAA's coming up.
I think that's what happened to Jaqueline. I think he could win.
Yeah.
I think he can win. I think if we have a clean start, momentum's not being killed, and he's not going over that first hurdle conservatively, I think he can win.
You know, I'm not gonna. I want to be controversial.
Go ahead, do it.
But I can't, because I kind of halfway agree. I still think Jacoby's gonna come out there and do it. Okay. Because here's the thing: a false start could happen. So it's kind of contextual. What you just said is very true. Jaqueline can just come out there and do something crazy, but at the same time, a false starts happen at championship meets all the time. If it's not 3 or 4, then maybe we're gonna get treated to a time. But I think Jacoby's on top no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see who's eating what words this time next week.
We're gonna see. Johnny,
you got a horse in the race?
Remember this.
You got a horse in the race, Johnny?
Well, I got the Who's in the game, obviously. You already knew that.
Well, fair enough.
Well, I mean, also, let's not forget about Kendrick.
Yeah, that's
Let's not forget about Kendrick.
See?
He, to your point, ran 7:46
Yeah.
with Jaqueline in the semis coming in. But I think I'm going with the Aggie.
All right. Well, we're going to go with the Auburn Tiger over here.
All right. We'll see what happens. If we start scrapping, Johnny, break it up.
Okay. Keep her on that side of the desk.
All right, yeah, so NCAA is going to be very much so a movie, but that's not all in the track and field space we have to talk about. Olu, I'm so ready to hear about your field report this week.
Yes, so we talked about it last week, and I know I'm going to keep dragging it, and I'm going to proudly drag it. This men's pole vault is going crazy. I made a quick post on the Instagram where I talked about why I'm paying attention to men's pole vault in 2026. Anybody would do that because there's a man named Mondo Duplantis in it. But I want to let you guys know, if you've been paying attention solely to Mondo, you've been missing a whole show developing behind him. There's a young man named Emmanuel Caralis. We've talked about him on the show many times before. He jumped 6.06 at one point in time, maybe 2 weeks ago. And then in the past week or so, he jumped 6.17 meters. That's 8 centimeters over his previous personal best to make him the second best pole vaulter of all time. That's the second highest pole vault of all time other than Mondo in the past 12 years or 10 years or something like that, right? So Mondo, being Mondo and doing Mondo things, has the Mondo Classic coming up this weekend. And who's in the competition? Mondo, Manuel Caralis. We also have Sander Gudormsen, who also just jumped 6.06. All these guys who are jumping over 6-meter bars coming up this season in one competition that Mondo's putting together. But here's the thing that everybody's going to want to pay attention to. This is what's probably going to go most viral if we're going to talk about it. Yes, we're going to talk about how we have all these 6+ meter vaulters going under behind Mondo, but Mondo also said he's looking to jump some high bars, 631 bars, in this indoor season. He said that a few weeks ago because he said he wanted a new world record bonus for that wedding that's coming up later this year. So 631, I'm gonna keep it short. Nia, you think he's got it this weekend in his own meet?
Yes.
Okay, What about you, Johnny?
I'm gonna say yes. Never doubt that, man.
Now, see, me, I feel like how can I ask the question and I answer it myself? But I feel like he's going to get it, or no, I feel like he's gonna get some close shots at it, maybe some really high bars. I don't know, but let me also not be the one who doubts Mondo. Mondo, go get your record for this year, Playboy.
I was about to say, you know better than doubt these
I know
people.
better. I know better. But also, I also want to make the point that as Mondo goes over that attempts that 631 bar, people like Caralis, he's also, the reason why his trajectory is so impressive is that with pole vault, obviously you get to choose your height. Same thing with high jump. His previous personal best being 6:08. He then went to jump 6:17 on like the third attempt. He made that big jump. Most people don't make that jump. And then from 6:17, he attempted 6:31, which would have been the world record. Now, the attempts were not really anything to write home about, but one thing that we can talk about Caralis is that he's not afraid for the big bar. And for somebody like Mondo who breaks the world record incrementally, he really is in a class of his own, but it only takes someone like Caralis to be so close to that success to just get one right, and that's it. And it can be 8 centimeters over his personal best, 12 centimeters over his personal best. And that, when you jump 6:17, 14 centimeters of your personal best is now a new world record. So pay attention to the pole vault in 2026.
World record watch probably all season, no?
Yeah, I mean, Mondo Duplantis exists, but now we actually might have another one person in that same world record watch. I said it.
All right, I'm excited. Say it with your chest, too. With that being said, okay, let's talk about what's hot, guys. The LA Marathon was popping this weekend.
Nate, dare I say, greatest kick of all time.
You know what? I'm not mad at you. I am not mad at you.
It's up there in the Hall of Fame.
It's up there, guys. Okay, Nathan Martin. He's a 36-year-old high school cross-country coach from Jackson, Michigan. He won the 2026 LA Marathon and ran past Kenya's Michael Kamau in the final second and sprints to win the LA Marathon.
Let me correct that. Let me do a fact check on that. Not the final second, the final 100th of a second.
You're right. You're right.
It is the thinnest margin in race history. It's pretty much the thinnest margin that any race could technically have. 100th of a second. I mean, this man seemed like he was 100 meters back in the home stretch.
Yeah, and
never say never.
And who says there's not a dive in distance? We were just talking about Kendrick and Jaqueline in the semifinals running 7:46, and it was just like the slimmest of margins. Dare we say this is slimmer?
Yeah,
I mean, look.
I mean, okay, you know what? It's I saw something from Rory Linkletter, and that this is kind of how I wanted to encapsulate. Is like, it's a marathon, not a sprint, until it's a sprint, not a marathon.
Oh, I like that. And we have visual representation for that too. Let's watch the clip.
Here he
The
comes.
clip.
Here he comes. So let's
No, he
get
is
right back
moving.
down to the
Woo.
All right,
in
this-
Virginia, we say woo, woo.
They're already like, let's watch him win this race.
That's the sound you literally don't want to hear in a race ever if you're in the front.
They're not cheering you, bro. They're not cheering you in front, bro.
And I think at this point he probably feels him.
Oh my gosh.
My man
He
died.
hits the deck too. Poor guy.
I'm not laughing at you because who am I to say that? I would never touch foot in the marathon, but jeez.
I would be sick.
Jeez.
I would be sick. Could you imagine? You over here, you're leading the marathon. You're in,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You're in the like probably
got-
last half of it, and then here comes somebody and just.
Look,
Wow.
don't forget your speed endurance, people. That's all that matters.
I got a little insult to injury, unfortunately. So the next day after, this went mega viral and everybody, I mean, objectively, this is one of the greatest kicks of all time. Unfortunately, what we did have on our hands was another Atlanta situation where he followed the moto. The moto basically pulls off at mile 26 to give him a clear shot. He follows him off the course.
Oh, man.
And that cost him the race. I don't think it was as significant as Atlanta.
Wow.
But when that context came out, that kind of, you can understand probably why he just lays there and doesn't move.
You're
So
lying.
yeah. So that was it came out yesterday.
Dang.
It was not like a 1,000 meters. It was like a 10 seconds sort of thing. But
That 10
for
seconds
2
is
weeks
all
in
he
a,
needed.
2 weeks in a row. It was the
Something
moto.
in the air.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So at what point are we gonna stop and be like, okay, guys, we need to tighten something up. We need to do we need to do lessons again? Do we need a refresher?
Someone might need to hop up out the car and say, go that way. Like, why hasn't, I've never been on the Pace vehicle. You, Mr. Pace, have.
Right.
What is that? What is that like? I mean, if the Pace vehicle's pulling off, or even if you're in the photo car, is there somebody directing? Because I know there's a lot of vehicles moving around. How do you direct the runners to not go the wrong way? It seems pretty straightforward.
That's a great point. Well, so my only experience is in the New York Marathon, where it's like that's pretty obvious. I mean, you'd be running over to the Tavern on the Green. They have this whole. They built these. I have to watch the clip again. Like clearly, there's a home straight, but it's not as blatantly obvious. And you got to imagine at 26, you're seeing stars.
I'm seeing stars at 5.
Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh.
No.
So I have to imagine you can look at them, and the crowds are not as deep as something like New York, where it's like for the whole last mile, you have this tunnel of people. I could reasonably see in a situation like this, it's like mile 26, he pulls off, and you just follow him.
Wow.
But it's kind of, you got to feel for it. It's probably his race to win, but nonetheless, I think Nathan deserves all the praise for not giving up. Like, I think regardless of any of that, to be that far back, that close to the finish, and to give that your all, that's really, I think, what the focus is like, that is a heroic.
Yeah.
that's inspirational.
For sure.
I'm never letting up at the line again.
Gosh.
Ooh-wee.
I hope I can get some reparations or something,
man, we need
because I would be sick. I'm like, no, someone else has to feel this with me.
Yeah,
I'm not going down by myself.
Yeah.
Someone needs to feel this with me. We need consequences. I need to know what exactly they were and if they were fitted.
I go back to driver's ed.
Yeah, I would have been sick. But who's not sick? Jacob Kiplimo. Half marathon world record this past weekend in Lisbon, 57:20. That's blazing. That is blazing.
57:20. So I got a few fun facts from that one. So he actually set the world record here 5 years ago in 2020. It was by 1 second by Yamif Kajelka in 2024. So he held it for 4 years. And then I don't know if you guys caught this, but back in the fall, he actually went sub 27. He went like 26:42, I believe. Unthinkable, unfathomable sort of time. But it ended up not being ratified by World Athletics because they were saying, again, with the pace cars, he was a little too close to the cars. And so they said it was no good. So I think this is a consolation prize. Obviously, that 26:42 or whatever it was, we'd prefer to have that. But this is a world record nonetheless. It just shows you the leagues, the levels that Kiplimo's operating at. It's like 30 seconds here or there. It's still a world record, but
it's nuts.
He's got the London Marathon coming up in a month, so this man's got range. But
oh boy,
we love a good world record.
It's pending ratification. So let's hope that.
Exactly.
The pace vehicle took them 2 centimeters faster. We're gonna have to. No, we don't need any time for that. We don't have the time for that.
So let's hope that this nothing's happening with the pace cars. Everything was cool. The shoes were legal. Because I'm going to speak it in the air. This is an official world record because that's extraordinary. I think I have no other words but that 57:20 for 13.1 miles.
I mean, I ran first and last time I ever ran 6 miles. It took me about an hour.
Yeah.
He ran more than twice as fast. Like, oh, you got it,
He
bro.
went through 10K in 27 minutes. Flat.
Goodbye.
So
That's
You
crazy.
got that.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Johnny,
moving different.
you got to do that when you run in London.
Chase
I
him
think
down.
if I can keep Kiplimo's pace for half a mile, I'll be.
Dude, all you got to do is do that and then follow the pace car, and they'll give you a little Mario Kart shortcut.
Exactly.
Ooh, yes, let the pace car work in
let
your
the pace car
favor.
work in your favor, man.
Johnny Pace, follow the pace.
Yeah.
I love that. And with that being said, I love the show. We're in a good space. We're in a new space. It's so nice to see your faces in person. And hey, guys, see y'all next time.
See you next time.
Peace.